Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. This is the second lecture of compile design. We see the language processing system in the descriptive form. Previously we see the language processing system overview. Here we know that the computer system is made of hardware and software. The hardware understands a language which human cannot understand, and many more points we see in the previous lecture. So it is a program that can fed into a series of tools and OS components to get desired code that can be used by machines, and this is known as the language processing system. Now we see the descriptive form. Okay, now we see the high level language is converted into binary language in various phases, right? Here we know this is the phases. First we can see this is the compiler and as assembler. These both are the phases. A compiler is a program that converts high level language to assembly language. Okay, similarly an assembler is a program that converts assembly language to machine level languages. So you can see this, the compiler works as the convert high level language to assembly languages, and the assembler is the convert the assembly language to machine level languages. Now let us first understand how a program using C is executed on a host machine. Okay, now we see the how the C programming works. Okay, first user write a program in C language, which is the high level language. Then the C compiler compiles the program and translate into assembly program. Now you can see this is a program that converts high level language to assembly language, same thing which is applied on that. Okay, now we see the an assembler that translate the assembly program into machine code. Same thing here. Okay, you know that this we discussed in the further previous points. So this is the way, same thing, they are translates assembly program into machine codes. Now a linker tool is used to link all the part of program together for execution. Same, a loader loads all them into memory and then the program is executed. Before diving into straight into the concept of compilers, we should understand a few other tools that work closely with the compilers. So here we see, okay, here we have the source code, right? Source code means source code first of all taken by preprocessor, then it's going into the compiler. We see compiler converts into the high level and into assembler is convert assembly to machine code. As we know, we see the previous point, linker, then going to loader, and loader loads all this executed program into the memory, right? So this is the basic diagram. Now we see the what is processor, compiler, assembler, linker, loader, memory. So we see these components and we see the some components which is used in this system, right? So here is the preprocessor. Okay, a preprocessor generally considered as a part of compiler is a tool that produce input for compilers, right? Some inputs like argumentations, macro processings, language executions, etc., and many more. So next is interpreter. So what is interpreter? An interpreter, like a compiler, translate high level language into the low level machine language. So its difference lies in the way they read the source code or input. A compiler reads the whole source code at once, create tokens, checks semantics, generate intermediate code, executes the whole program may involve many passes, right? So here is the basic things. This is the, they can read the source code as the input or as a input. A compiler read the whole source code at once and create the tokens. We see this, what is token, in the next lecture or in the some next lectures or further lectures. So token is basically the sequence of the characters. It checks the semantics and they generate the intermediate code and executes the whole program that may involve many passes. There are many passes, single passes having or multiple passes. There are many kind of passes are there. So in contrast, an interpreter reads a statement from the input, convert it to an intermediate code, executes it, then takes the next statement in the sequence. So this is the interpret works, how interpret works. We show that if an error occurs, an interpreter stops execution and report it, whereas a compiler reads the whole program even it it encounters several errors. So they are firstly stopped and they shows the report while execution while we execution some program, we write some program and they are stopped and they show a error, means we have some errors, we have float error, we have number error, something like that, we have missing some things, we are missing some data types and more. So this is the how interpreter works. We see that. Now we are moving on. We are moving on assembler. What is assembler? Assembler translate assembly language program into machine code. We see in the previous points. The output of an assembler is called an object file, which contain a combination of machine instructions as well as the data required to place this instruction into memory. Means the output of assembler is called an object file. Okay, we see this is the assembler is called the object file, and this is contain the combination of machine instructions, right? And the data required to place this instruction into memory. This is the main point. Instructions is in memory. So here we have, okay, let's see this linker. Linker is a computer program that links and merge various object files together in order to make an executable file. So we know that the linker means in the routine life we many times says that the we link this is and we merge this in the object file, right? We link and merge various object file together in order to make an executable file. This is the work of the linker. All these files might have been compiled by separate assembly. It's like in the our routine life, if we are doing gym or something, we have the personal trainer. So it's like something like that. All file might have been compiled by the separate assembler. We might have separate things for the exercise and many things. The major task of linker is to search and locate reference modular or routine in a program. The major task of linker is to search and locate. This is their search. This is the major task is search and locate the reference module, right, in the program. Okay, and see the determine the memory location where and what they determine the memory location. Okay, this code will be loaded. Where this code will be loaded means they can find, they can exactly locate where the code is loaded, right, and making the program instruction to have absolute reference means they make the program instruction. This is the instruction to have absolute references, right? So here we see this, the memory location where the code will loaded, making the program instruction to have absolute references. So this is the linkers work. We know that the linkers, how linkers work or not. So linker is a computer program that links and merges the object file. Okay, let's see the loader. Loader is a part of operating system and it is responsible for loading executable files into memory and execute them. And it calculates the size of program and create a memory space for it. So its work is calculate the size of program and create memory space for it. So loader work for calculate the size of program and create the space for it. It initialize various register to initiate executions. So this is the loader. Now this is cross compiler and cross compiler that run on platform A and it is capable of generating executable code for platform B is called cross compiler. Simple. A compiler that run on platform A and it capable of generating executable code for platform B is called a cross compiler. Now we see the next one is source to source compiler. A compiler that takes the source code of one programming language and translate it into the source code of another programming language is called a source to source compiler. Okay, that means that it is one compiler, okay, that take the source code of one programming language and translate into the source code of another programming language. It takes the one programming language of source code and translate into the source code of another programming language. It's called the source to source compiler. Okay, here is the end of the second lecture. Now it is the whole information about language processing system, and thank you for watching and thank you for give your time. Thank you so much.